there, fictional friends, and welcome to another episode of Fully Booked. I'm Megan.
And I'm Sherine.
And it's our last episode of 2025.
Oh my God, goodbye 2025. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Seriously. Goodbye. Thank you. Bring on the new year, as long as it is better than this year.
So long, farewell. Do not write.
I feel like on New Year's Eve at midnight, the entire planet will heave a collective sigh of relief and hopefulness for another year that is not like this one. No, thank you.
We just need the year to start off with something good, and then you just know that we're golden.
Just to get us on the right track.
Yeah, I feel like instead of having Groundhog Day, we need to have like a New Year's Day, kind of similar.
Like a reset, kind of?
Yeah, but it'd be a collective, if the groundhog sees his shadow, then it's going to be a shitty year. You know what I mean? We need something like that for New Year's Day,
that would be good. Yeah, that makes sense. I could see that. I think that's a good idea. Okay, that's it. We'll petition for it.
Get him out of his cage. Twice a year now.
Yeah. So we're wrapping up the end of this year by taking an opportunity to do what we do normally at the end of the year and talk about our top reads of this year. Now, we've had multiple conversations, especially in the last couple of months, about the types of reading years that we've had and just the types of years that we've had in general, I think. So I don't think it'll come as too much of a shock that your list looks pretty different than it normally does, and you have different feelings about it than you have in previous years as well. So I don't think that'll be a shock to anybody.
No.
But that's okay.
And that yours is quite horrified. Horrified.
Kind of, yeah. I've got a few things in here, and that's it. I've got my list. I've got a few honorable mentions. I've got stuff. And I ranked them this year.
Oh, so did I.
I gave myself homework and I was like, oh no, stop being that way. You have to rank
you text
them.
Me and you're like, should we rank them? And I'm like, well, I think I only really finished 5 books this year. So,
you're like, so I've just put them in order.
How much whatever.
I've put them in the order of how much I enjoyed them.
Yeah, exactly.
All 5 of them. It doesn't matter. We've also talked about that before. You can read one book in the entire year and you are still a reader. You can exclusively listen to audiobooks and you are still a reader. And that's okay, because this is the time of year where everybody likes to come online and either complain about the people who have read a lot of books or people who come on to speak about reading a lot of books in a very performative manner. Some people are just putting the information out there. That's fine. It's your wrap up of the year, whatever the case may be. Some people are doing it performatively. Don't do that. It's just that's
when you
of
say
all the things to be.
What do you mean?
I read 350 books this year and look how great I am because I did that kind of thing.
Come on now.
Who cares?
Did you read it or did you stare at it for a while?
Yeah. But also that girl who went on an entire rant about recently that blew up all over the place on Book Talk about the fact that people who have read over 100 or 150 books a year must be unemployed. Calm down.
Oh, come on now.
No one's doing this to you personally. Please relax. I can't be bothered to deal with Book Talk discourse on TikTok itself because I just don't care. But I was I saw 20 people responding to this and I was like, oh God, okay. All right, everyone calm down.
Some people just read faster. Some people just are having a great reading year. Yeah. I'm pretty sure you must have read almost that many books this year, Megan. You got through a shed load this year.
Oh God, I'm sitting somewhere in the, between that and I forget to the thing is, luckily I have, I guess, data between my Goodreads and my Kindle subscription, my Kindle Unlimited subscription. It actually gives you numbers of stuff between both of them. I'm probably sitting in 120 range. It's just been one of those things because some of them you just get through in the blink of an eye, and it's just been a year like that. That's what it is.
And you're not unemployed, so
no, I'm not.
Talk, lady.
I could actually see dealing with the stress of being unemployed being a reason that I would read less because I would be way more stressed out about that.
I think I can confirm after this year, I've had 2 notably terrible reading years
Yeah.
in the last, like, 5, let's say,
Yes. Yeah.
and I can really the reason why I can track it a bit better is because of our podcast and,
Mhm.
like, because of, like, "Oh, crap, I don't have anything on my nightstand," or
And
whatever.
actually having to look back on it at the
Right.
end of the year, right? Yeah.
And both years, it's because I was going through, like, an immense amount of change, whether it be in my career
Yep.
or in my personal life, but, like, an immense amount of change, and, like, knowing myself, if I were unemployed, that would constitute, like, an immense,
Of
like,
course.
stress in my life, and I don't think I would be able to pick up one book.
I
I'd be
agree.
I'd be, like, frozen in place with stress.
Yep, I agree wholeheartedy. When I have
Yeah.
had periods of the time in the last, like, let's say 7 to 10 years at different times, especially during COVID, when there were layoffs that happened and I was affected by that in a couple of different
Yeah, you
times,
were. Yeah.
in the last, like, 5, 6 years. When that has happened, I have been so much less likely to read because all I'm doing is stewing
Yes.
on the fact that I'm unemployed actively and actively looking for something,
Yes.
and that level of stress and anxiety
Yes.
that it adds to everything, makes it so much more difficult to actually lose oneself in a piece of fiction and
Correct.
actually pay attention
Correct.
to that, because every minute that you're unemployed, you know that you are, and you know that you need to actively be looking, and you're like, "Well,
Mhm.
I'm not right now, so I'm wasting my
I
time."
should not be reading a book. I should
Nope.
be browsing job opportunities.
Exactly. Even though,
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things, being hired doesn't work that way. We know this, but
Yeah.
your anxiety doesn't know that. So,
Exactly.
no,
Anywho.
it's true. Anyway, okay. So, should we kick things off? Do you want to go with your number 5? I guess we should go 5, count down to
Oh,
1.
okay, we're going with the lowest and up? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with, The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. I know you didn't like it.
No.
Um, it actually took me a while to get through this one, like, longer than it should have,
Mhm.
because I think it was one of these, like, "Oh, I've been distracted for too long," whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But, at the same time, like, the fact that I was able to finish it regardless of being, like, uber distracted, I think shows that I was invested enough in the story.
Yeah.
Um, it was fine, like, it was good enough to keep me, interested and remembering also where I was in the book,
Ah,
like, every time.
thrillers are easy that
Thrillers,
way.
exactly, like,
Yeah.
I think that was what I liked about it,
Mhm.
and then the twist at the end, it was kinda like, "Well, I didn't see that coming," which, hey, points to the author.
Exactly.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, no, just because I didn't like, I'm not gonna shit on it. If people liked it, that's fine.
Yeah,
I wasn't for me. I did not enjoy it. So,
there you go. Yeah.
my number 5, which, like, whatever, because it just happens. This is the year that I read it, everyone. My number 5 is Quicksilver.
Oh.
I
Yep,
did actually read it this year. See, again, that's how long it's been, because I think I read it back in, like, February or
you
March.
did,
I
yeah.
forgot that I read it this year. I thought I might have read it last year. No,
Mhm,
I read it this year. I don't really have to give much of a reason. The internet mostly agrees with me.
mhm,
It's got a lot of really cool and interesting, I think, plot points to it more
mhm,
than anything else. We talked about this when we were talking about different
we did.
fantasy series and stuff, and what we kind of landed on with Callie Hart is that with her, the strength seems to lie in the actual plot itself
Yes,
and the twists that it has,
yes,
and all of like, sort of how, I guess, like, how the twists and turns affect the characters and their relationship, but then also the decision making process of things,
mm,
all of that stuff, because we were talking about plot versus world building versus characters and who's good at what, basically, and that's kind of what we landed on for this, and I think that's probably true
yeah.
in this case. And no, it's the end of 2025, and no, I have not read Brimstone. I'm gonna do it at some point, probably next year, honestly. When I hit this, we're hitting this, deep freeze period where I just am ready to read, like, much longer, more involved books. So this is
Mm.
probably when I'll get to it.
Yeah, I have this on my list. So I know that we have our top 5,
Yeah,
we have our honorable mentions.
yeah,
I made a quick list of books that I wish I had been able to finish this year
yeah,
and that I will read and finish next year,
yeah.
and, Quicksilver is number 1 on that.
That makes sense.
I think I said it on the podcast. I tried so hard.
But you have to put
I
it down for too long at a time. You're never gonna
Well,
be able
this
to
is
get back
it.
into it.
I was listening to the audiobook and
Yeah,
trying to read the book at the same time, which I think kinda messed me up.
yeah.
So, in the new year, I will be reading this book
That's okay.
on paper.
No
Yeah,
one's gonna judge you for it, and if they do, then they're
I'm
dumb.
judging
So,
you.
no, it's fine.
Okay.
The only person who can be hard on you is you.
Yes, I know. Well, I am. Okay, my number 4 is Death on the Downline by Maria Abrams.
Yay.
That was one that when we were doing one of our first episodes of when I came back from
Yes,
mat
yeah,
leave.
yeah.
You had actually brought the physical copies
Mhm.
because we were playing a game, and you were describing this one, and I just held out my hand like, "Just hand it over." It was so funny. It was so darkly,
Oh, yeah.
like, it was so funny. The little, like, communiques that were going on in the book, like,
Oh my
it
god, the social media posts, the
yeah.
descriptions of the social
Oh,
media posts sent me
so
into the
funny.
stratosphere because they were so realistic and
It was
so
so
funny and
funny.
so true to what you so often see in MLMs and the way that
Yes.
these people are brainwashed into functioning. Oh, it was so
Oh,
funny.
it was just so well done,
Yeah.
with the main character being, like, very much like an outsider to this whole world and not fully mentally bought into it. So,
Yeah.
just recap, it's about, an MLM. The main character has lost her job. She has to move back to kind of her small town where she's from. She's living with her dad.
Yeah.
She gets roped into an MLM thinking, "Hey, I can make a bit of money this way," and, things start to come out. Seems a lot more sinister than it did at the beginning. There's, like, a lot of Stepford wife action going
Yeah.
on. But because the main character is, like, so not invested in the world, she's just kind of an outsider looking in and being like, "These ladies are nuts."
Yeah, it doesn't
So
take her very long to kind of, sort of, make conclusions about it, like
mm,
proper conclusions about it. I mean, she's a skeptic, she's a journalist, so I think that
exactly.
also probably plays in a little bit, but the whole thing is just it's so fun and cleverly
It is.
written.
It's a
Um,
well done book. Yeah.
yeah, I will say it's not on my list, but it is in my honorable
Oh, is it?
mentions
Okay,
because
there you go.
it was just such a fun, easy read. I think I read it actually. I had finished it probably not too long before I brought it
Yeah,
over to your place, and then so we read it within fairly quick succession of each
yeah.
other, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I think so, yeah, no, I had a good time with this one.
My number 4 is a book that I finished very recently that, there's now a review up of over on the site at
Oh, right,
fullybooked.ca.
okay.
Yeah, it's We Who Will Die by Stacia Stark. It's possible by the time you're hearing this, it's already published. I know that it's already out in the UK and in New Zealand, if I'm not mistaken, but the North American publication date is December 30th. So if at the time that you're hearing this, it's not out yet, it will be out incredibly shortly. It is another sort of high fantasy. I found a couple of those on my list this year. It's high
Wow.
fantasy. It is set in it's a very different kind of world building, this one. It's set in like an ancient sort of Roman inspired world. So we're talking like gladiators and tournaments. It's vampires, not fae,
Yay,
which is fun because we like
vampires!
to change it up a little bit from time to
Yeah,
time. Plus, I love a vampire story,
yeah,
obviously. And I don't know, I liked the main character. I really liked the world building in this. And I'm very curious with a couple of the characters. I will not give anything away, especially because it's not out yet. I'm really curious with a couple of the characters. This is a start to a new series, and I'm
mhm,
very curious to see. It mostly ends on a cliffhanger, and I'd really like to see where this goes and how the relationships between a few of the characters develop because I think it's going to be an interesting one. So, yeah.
and that was an ARC that we
It
received,
was,
right?
yeah, it was an ERC that we received from HarperCollins,
Mhm,
so shout out to them, but yeah, this was I don't know, I think because it's almost the end of the year, I guess, like, I read the description and I was like, "This sounds cool," but I don't know if I was expecting to like it as much as I did.
yeah,
I loved this, I thought it was so cool, I really liked the characters, like, I actually was like, "Oh, I feel something for these people, I feel so bad for them,"
oh, really?
and yeah, and there's the makings of something slow burny that I think is gonna be interesting and very complicated when it happens.
Oh, nice. Well,
Yeah.
you very generously gave me a copy of that because we got
Yeah.
a couple of copies,
We did,
so,
yeah.
I will add it to my list for next year. The giant teetering pile of books that I would love to read next year,
I love
but,
it's just like one leaning tower of Pisa
yeah,
in your library.
at this point, yeah, it's like, if I walk into my room with all the books, it's like threatening to topple over on me.
At any moment.
Yeah, book buying and book reading are two very different hobbies,
They
and
are
I
both
find
hobbies, but they're different
they are
ones.
different. And I find when I'm struggling with my reading year, I go into a book buying mode, which is not good.
You're like, "When I'm struggling with the reading, I'm really good at buying them."
Exactly. Anyway, my number three is no, is it not number three? Number three?
Yes. Yeah, 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 no, we're at number 3.
Shit, I think I put one too many in here.
Did you put 6?
I put 6. Fuck.
Well, oops.
Craptola. Can't count. Okay, I gotta talk about Sunrise on the Reaping real quick. This is 3.5. The next
Fine.
one is number 3.
That's okay.
Suzanne Collins, as a rule, don't love her writing.
Yeah.
She's meh, whatever. The concepts of all of her books are really good. The reason why I liked Sunrise on the Reaping is I felt so bad for Haymitch at the end.
Yeah, you kept on telling me this. You were like, This is not one where in the same tradition of, like, Hunger Games
No, there's
types of
no
books where you're
positive
like,
note
"Oh,
at
good,
the end of
something
this one.
hopeful." You're like, "Nope, it's a black hole of despair." And I was
It's
like, "Oh."
horrible. It's just horrible, and, like, what I will give to her is that because it was like she had the Hunger Games,
Mhm.
we had all the movies,
Yeah.
the fanfare, and then we got the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and it's like, okay, origin story,
Mhm.
cheers, thanks. What she did with Sunrise on the Reaping is she managed to tie them both together.
Okay.
The the ones I
Oh,
just mentioned.
it ties together Hunger Game, the original trilogy, and
Yes,
Sunrise and, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
right,
Okay, got it.
because in Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, you're like, "Yep, Snow sucks. We hate
Yeah.
him. He
Yeah.
sucks." But now you hate him, like,
Right.
hate him. And then you go into the Hunger Games. So I'm like, "Alright, fine, I'll give you this one," and I'm
Okay.
finding myself quite excited about going to see the movie. So I'm like,
I think
"Alright."
I mean, look, it's shaping up to be I think it's shaping up to be interesting. They've already released a first look at it. I'm pretty
Mm,
sure November of 2026 is gonna be a pretty packed, theater experience for
I
us,
think
so,
so. Yeah,
yeah,
so we
I'm
will
pretty
be
sure.
there with our shoe shined.
Number we are at number 3. Number 3 for me is, a book that I've mentioned a few different times in the past few months, I think, while we've been talking about stuff. It's The Eyes Are the Best Part by
Ah, yes,
Monica
I knew you
Kim.
were gonna say that when you said you've mentioned it a few times.
Yeah. Um, this book is terrifying, but in, like, such a fascinating, interesting way. Like, it's kind of semi like a revenge thing to a degree, but it's just also it's just a young woman dealing with too many things hitting a breaking point and a level of mania that is just kind of fascinating
Can
and very
relate.
yeah, and, like, very grotesque, but, like, very fascinating to read, particularly from the perspective of the character who's experiencing all of these things
Mm.
and how she deals with them and how she's been like the good daughter and the good little girl this entire time. But now she's just hit a point, like a breaking point, where she's like, nope. And just every single interaction with every man that she comes across is worse and worse and worse to the point that she's like, oh, I'm done with this now.
Oh, wow.
And you're just kind of, you get to the end and you're just kind of like, yeah, I get it. That's fair.
Yeah, I don't wanna admit that I can relate, but can relate. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly. But I loved it. It's so good. And she's got another book coming out, I think, in April or May of next year, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm so looking forward to that. I can't wait.
Shout out to their publisher, we'd love to do a review. Uh, okay, my actual number 3, was Oxford Soju Club
Oh
by
yeah.
Jin Park.
Mhm.
Um, I really liked this book. I read it in, like, no time at all.
Yeah.
It was lovely. It was interesting. The writing was nice. Um, there was just this really lovely element of, like, culture sharing through food in
Oh,
this book,
cool.
where they talked so much about the Korean food that the main character, or not the main character, but one of the soju club owner, very meticulously prepared, and his backstory, all about how, his family, he and his mother left Korea to move, and they went to Oxford, and it was their dream to open this restaurant. That was her dream,
Hmm.
and he did it, and just kind of all the events that take place after. It was so well done. This was an ARC that we received as well.
Yeah, from River
Um,
Street Writing.
yeah, and I have to say, I think I was in a bit of a reading funk when you gave me this one, and so it kind of got me back on track
Yeah.
to be able to read the few books that I did read.
Mhm.
But, again, shout out to Jinwoo Park. Can't shout out enough because I just really enjoyed this book.
Awesome. Yay. Yeah, I know you were really happy with that one, and I thought it was,
Mhm.
like, a really interesting story, so number 2, I'm just horror for the rest of this list, by the way. Anyway, number 2 is, a novel called Breathe In, Bleed Out by Brian Macaulay.
Mm,
This one was just so enjoyable because I really like a slasher. I
mm,
do. I've always liked a slasher. Um, it follows a woman who's experienced like a pretty hefty trauma. Her fiance died in front of her.
ooh,
And it's about a year later. And she's like late 20s. She's a doctor. She's her friend, because she's kind of shut herself off from people, her friend invites her to a like retreat out in Joshua Tree because they're in LA, and she invites her out to, that's it, Joshua Tree in California, like out in the middle of nowhere, to one of these weird, like, sort of spiritual retreat types of
mhm,
places. But it's one of those that's like very exclusive, no social media presence, all that jazz.
mm,
And she goes out there, she gets kind of dragged out there to a degree with her best friend and a few of her other old friends who she's kind of lost touch with over the last year due to circumstances, obviously, and her dealing with her trauma and her grief.
mm,
And when they arrive, everything seems a little funky, but like not too crazy. But as time continues, basically everyone at the retreat, including the people in charge of it, start being picked off one by one. And so she has to kind of, on her feet as the final girl, basically solve the mystery of who the hell is doing this
mm.
and why they're doing it. But it is like slasher format, but in like a fun setting. The twists are clever, the writing is great. Like, I liked the tropes of the characters, sort of like, the different like kind of character tropes that they all fall into in a way. Like, it very much has like a slasher format, but it was so fun and kind of like manic towards the end, because when the action picks up, it really picks up. So
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I loved it. It was just so great. And I want to read more of Brian Macaulay stuff.
It's funny because I think because we do so many discussions about like adaptations,
Yeah.
I often when I'm reading books, sometimes I think to myself, this would be like a great movie. Like the one that you're describing sounds like it would be
Yeah.
a great movie.
This is 100%. I agree with you. This is one of those that you're like, this would make such a great movie. It
Yeah.
would.
It's like the one that I'm reading right now. It's an ARC called The Sweetest Getaway.
Yeah.
And I just keep thinking like I would have really enjoyed this as a movie,
Hmm.
Yeah.
Just well suited. Okay,
Yeah.
what's your number 2?
All right, number 2, and we just talked about this, is The Housemaid by Frida
Of
McFadden.
course.
I just really like this book. Like we said during our discussion,
Yeah.
when we went to see the movie, um, it wasn't even probably the best thriller I read this. Okay, fine. I read 2 Frida McFaddens this year. This wasn't the better
This
one of the
wasn't your
2.
favorite. Yeah.
Um, but what I really enjoyed about this one was that I was able to, like, rally up so many people to read it all at once, and it turned it into, like, this, like, book club
It
kind of
did.
it was like my own personal book
It
club.
was.
So
It was.
I, like, forced it onto, like, 3 other people, and so, like, in quick succession,
Yep.
and even actually, I just realized, yeah, my mother-in-law also read it, so
Oh,
she read
did
it too.
she? Oh my god.
Yeah, she did because I was talking about it. So she read that. She also read, Oxford Soju Club. She
Oh,
went out
did
and
she?
bought it, yeah.
Oh, wow.
But what I think what I enjoyed about The Housemaid was the whole experience behind it, and then the fact that the adaptation was coming out this year, and we went to see the movie, and it was actually quite good, like, so that's why it's quite high up there on my list.
I mean, that's fair. I think that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like, it like we said, it was just sort of like it became one of those things that was like an experience.
yeah,
And it also was something like, I know you'd read like another Frida McFadden before that, but you just kind of got turned on to
yeah,
the idea of reading like this type of book, which is
yeah,
a little bit out of your
it's
usual
true.
style. Like, you do read them, but not that frequently. And when you
No.
do, it's normally only like when you're on vacation or
Yes,
something, and not just like for no reason.
yes,
So yeah,
yes, exactly.
yeah. Um. Oh God, we're at number 1. Okay. I
Drum
was like,
roll.
where am I on the list? Yeah, we'll just as like a little extra. My number one, again, is like a more recent read. I don't know what it was about the latter half of this year, but everything just really went well, I guess.
Mm.
My number one of the year is a book called Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zhang by Kylie Lee Baker. This book is so fucking good. This is so good. This was one that I was seeing earlier in the year because it was published this year, if I'm not mistaken, that popped up on people's lists all over the place. And by October, it was everywhere. And I was like, what is this book? And
Mm.
then I wound up picking it up maybe in like November, and I
Mm.
found it and I read it and I was like, okay, yep.
I
Mhm,
get it
mhm, mhm.
now.
Get it. I get it. Because
So what's it
sometimes you do
about?
that and you pick it up and you're like, all right.
Mm.
It wasn't for me, you know.
Yeah.
This was not one of those times. So, Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zhang follows a young woman named Cora Zhang, obviously, who this is set in New York during COVID,
Mm.
and it follows Cora after a number of months, I guess, not even a full year, I don't think, a number of months after she loses a close family member, not to COVID, but as a result of, to a degree.
Mm.
It's it and basically she's very strange. She has a lot of anxiety and a lot of different sort of OCD type issues, like
Yeah.
neurodivergent issues. I couldn't diagnose her, but that's roughly what it is.
Yeah.
She has taken a job because she's desperate for one as a crime scene cleaner.
Okay.
And so she works with a small crew of other Asian people who clean up, that's it, crime scenes following, whatever different type of death in some capacity.
Okay.
And so this is like, I don't know how to describe this book very well, but I'm like having trouble doing it even though, because there's so much different stuff going on. There's a lot of commentary about, like sort of racism and Asian hate,
Mm.
particularly what people experienced during COVID. We
During
saw that
COVID.
everywhere. That was
Yeah.
something that was very rampant. And in a city like New York, which was a
Yeah.
hotbed for COVID and was like an epicenter for it, that is something that happened on a regular basis to people. So this story weaves in aspects of that. It weaves in, like Chinese folklore and ghost stories, and
Oh,
the idea of a hungry ghost and a haunting when someone is not laid to rest correctly after they pass
okay.
away, and Cora being haunted by that. It combines that with, through the work that she is doing, a basically a mystery, because she starts to realize that there is potentially a serial killer in New York who is killing
Oh.
off Asian Americans
Oh,
in
wow.
their homes because she's being sent to clean up all of these crime scenes after Asian people
Oh,
are being
wow.
killed. So it like weaves all of these things together in just like the most like fascinating way. It is interesting. You are kind of fascinated with this from start to finish. Cora's character, even like the level of sort of like anxiety and the issues that she lives with, are understandable in a lot of cases and
Yeah.
like relatable to a degree, but it's the mystery of like, who the hell is doing all of this? Is she going to be able to figure out who it is, like with her friends and coworkers? Like, is she going to be able to figure this out? But also dealing with like the haunting, like, is she being haunted by this family member that
Mm.
she's lost? There are so many moments in it that are like unsettling in a regular way, but then also, or something very mundane will be happening, and then something absolutely terrifying will come out of nowhere. I'm like, it basically, it's weird, very weird to get jump scared while you're reading a book. Like, that's not normally something that happens to me, but there were a couple of times where I was like, ah, God.
Yeah, see, I was about to ask you if this would be like Shireen friendly, but this is starting to sound a little bit too scary for
I
me.
still think you would like it
Oh,
though.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
really
well, I'll
it's
have to
really
borrow it
well
from you.
written. I still think you would find it really interesting.
Because you know
Um,
me, when it's well written and stuff, like
you can just deal with
I can
it.
like I'll just do what I did with whatever that Grady Hendrix one was,
Was it How to Sell a Haunted
Southern
House, I think, or Southern Book Club's Guide to Selling
Southern Book Club.
Vampires?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was just holding it. It was when with the ear biting and like the description of it, and I was like, oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I love that book. Anyway, anyway, there was just I guess again, part of me went in being like, is this being overhyped? And then I finished it and I was like, nope, nope,
Yeah, that was good.
absolutely not. It was fantastic. Kylie Lee Baker, yay, I love you. Keep
All right,
doing
I'll
it.
have to
She
borrow
has
that from
another,
you.
yeah, she has a book called Japanese Gothic coming out in April of 2026, and I cannot wait. I need it. I need it in my life.
I need it now.
I require it.
Yeah.
So Yeah, it seems great. Okay, what are the other ones? Because you said you had, like, Quicksilvers at the top of your must get to,
No,
must
I have my
finish.
number 1. I haven't
Oh,
said my
yeah.
number
Oh my
1
god,
yet.
I'm sorry, go.
Alright, drum roll.
Da, da,
To nobody's surprise, I'm sure, Onyx Storm that came out in January.
da. Oh, fuck,
Um,
right, yeah, you read that immediately when it came
I
out.
read it immediately because I had pre-ordered it, and I
Yes.
remember there was this whole thing because I was like, "Am I going to receive it on the day that it's launched?" Because
Yeah.
I was going through this whole thing where I was like, "If I'm not gonna receive it the day that it's launched, then I'm
Mhm.
just gonna go to the store and then I'm gonna cancel my order." Like, it was a whole thing. I had it all planned, and
You were like, "I'm ready for this."
I'm ready for this, and it got delivered at, like, 8 a.m. the day that it came out, and so I was so happy, and I think I got through it within, like, 24 hours or something.
Yeah, you got through it really I was within a couple of days, I think you
Yeah,
finished it because you were like, "I'm writing a review," and I was like, "Okay."
yeah, and then I wrote another review and then another I think I wrote a couple of
I
articles
think
about
you
it.
wrote a review, and then I think you wrote, like, predictions potentially for, like,
That's
what
right,
will maybe
for
be
the next
happening
one.
later and stuff. Yeah, it
That's
was a whole
right,
thing. It
yeah,
was a whole thing.
I really love these books. Like, I know they get classified as romantasy.
Yeah, yeah.
I just think it's really cool world building, and I think the dragons are just
They're
awesome.
fabulous.
They are fabulous.
They're
There are
fabulous.
no explanations needed. Like, Rebecca Yarros is huge now
Yeah.
in this
But,
space.
this exactly what I said with Quicksilver. I was like, "I don't think I need to explain myself. It's
No,
just on my
like
list."
it's number 1, like,
Yep.
it was so enjoyable, like, the anticipation of it, getting to read it. I remember I read it and I saw that there was, like, some comments, like, not enjoying it as much. I loved it. I
Okay.
love these 3 books so far. They're just so fun. They're fun. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
on an adventure when I'm reading them, and so, like, what more do you want from a book?
It's Dragon College, guys. Like, what do you think
Exactly.
it's going to be a fun adventure, obviously.
Dragon War College, like,
Yeah.
hello, this is awesome, and they all have superpowers?
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
And they all have superpowers, and the dragons talk.
Exactly, and they're sassy, and they're
S
just great.
so
They're
sassy.
like big, big cats or, like, big terriers.
No, they're like
More
baby
like big
cats.
terriers.
Yeah, I guess they're more energetic than cats, but, like,
Yeah.
they've got cat attitude, that's for
Oh,
sure.
definitely. They're pretty terriers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
that's my list. So, Megan,
Okay.
what are your honorable mentions?
So okay, in that same vein, I think just because like it probably would have been on the list anyway, but we're only doing 5 and stuff. So like Fourth Wing, I finally read Fourth Wing this year, like the first
Yay.
one. So I was like, yes, obviously, of course I loved it. It was great. It was so fun. I
Mhm.
liked the characters. Obviously, the dragons are
Yeah,
fucking cool because of course
yeah,
they are. It ended on a really good cliffhanger, I
it
will
did.
say. I read that last page and I was like, oh my God, okay.
Yeah, so good. So good.
Jesus. So nobody's surprised about this. I don't have to explain myself with this. I had put Death on the Downline on there because again, it was just like it was so fun. And as somebody who like kind of consumes like anti-MLM content, this
Mm,
was hilarious. This was like the
mhm.
best kind of black comedy I think I could have read. And I loved that. What else is on here? Oh yes. This year I also that's it had decided to continue the series. So I read both Apprentice to the Villain and Accomplice to the Villain,
Oh,
which are
that's
books
right.
2 and 3 of
Yeah.
the Assistant to the Villain franchise, whatever, person franchise, anyway, series.
Mm,
There is another book, I believe, coming out in August of 2026, which is Adversary to the Villain. These are the types of like cozy, sort of cozy fantasy, but just like funny fantasy. Like when you
yeah.
want fantasy but comedic, these are the types of books that I like because they're so funny and
Yeah, you got
fun.
me all 3 of them for my birthday, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I just wanna dive into them, but I don't know,
Oh,
I
they're
just
so fun.
haven't been able to yet.
Yeah, I know. They're so fun. The banter is top tier. It's hilarious. Everybody, all the characters are funny.
Hmm.
And it's just like a silly, goofy time. Like if you want something that's going to still have stakes and still have a lot going on, but is like lighter than something like obviously Quicksilver or like Fourth Wing or the
Yeah,
Empyrean series or anything like that, that's like, much heftier and maybe feels like it has much higher stakes or
yeah,
is much more serious. These are the types of things that you're going to love. Like they're still
yeah,
fun, like high fantasy adventure, but they're so funny that it just kind of keeps you going even when there's serious things happening. There's still like a moment of levity in there. So,
yeah.
oh, they're so great. And my last one was probably So Thirsty by Rachel Harrison was probably
Oh, yes,
my
that
last
was the
like
other one I want to read. Yeah.
yeah, which is her that's a vampire book that was published. I want to say I forget if it was published this year or like end of last year. But anyway, that was her more recent one that had come out. And I know she's had another one since then, which I do have a copy of, Play Nice, but I haven't gotten to it yet. It's on the list. It'll get there. I've got like a few ARCs that I have to get through right now.
Mhm.
So yeah. So that one too, because I love Rachel Harrison. She's just the type of horror writer that I adore. I love her stuff. I love how fun it is that each book tackles a different um, genre or subgenre of horror. That she's
Mm.
got like a vampire one, she's got a witch one, she's got a werewolf one. I think she's got a haunted house one now. Like she just
Oh, there you
has.
go.
I
Yeah.
know they're so fun, and I love the way that she writes. I love the way that she writes the female characters in her
Mm.
novels because it speaks to just every woman who reads them to a degree because of the things that they're going through, the way that they feel about things is obviously feels very true to life. So I just love her stuff, and I don't think I'm going to stop.
I appreciate that. I really I have that one. You loaned me that one and I
Mhm.
need to read it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Anyway, this has been a
Um,
year.
my list is
Yeah.
ones that not quite as much, not like yours, but ones that I wish I had finished that I will finish next year.
Yes. Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
already called out Quicksilver because I know that Brimstone came out. So definitely on my list.
Yeah.
Since there's no new Rebecca Yarros and there's no new Sarah Moss coming out by the looks of it in 2026, not announced yet.
Nope.
Um, I can set my sights on some Callie Hart
Yeah,
instead.
that's true. No, I think that's a good idea.
And then Fairy Tale by Stephen King. I need to finish
Oh,
this one.
yeah.
I was really into it because it had that like great American novel feel. But then I know the dog is gonna die in the goddamn book
And you're like,
because
fuck.
he's old. He's
Oh,
really
no.
old. And like she's
Oh,
struggling to like get up and down the stairs and like the main character like loves her, but like she's like he only just met her and she's
yeah.
old and I'm like, I know she's gonna die and it's
Yeah.
probably in a heroic fashion, but I don't know if I can do it. Anyway, so but I do want to finish that because I liked the concept of the book. I love the
Yeah.
writing style, and I want to finally say that I finished a goddamn Stephen King novel.
True enough.
Uh, and finally, Phantasma by Kylie Smith,
Oh,
or
yeah.
Kaylee Smith. Kaylee?
I think it's
Um,
Kaylee. I'm
Kaylee
not
Smith.
I don't
Um,
remember. I should know that. I read it this year as well. Whoops.
yeah, I you know what? I DNF'd it originally because I was
Mhm.
like, I don't really care where this is going. But I've found in the last like couple months that the story is kind of living rent free in my mind. So
Okay.
I'm like, I think I need to finish this book to find out what happens
I
because
think if you see it through, you won't hate it now that because
yeah,
I have finished it. I think if you see it through, you won't hate it. But I do understand. I will say
yeah,
that I enjoyed it for what it was.
yeah,
I like that it was a little bit darker than some of the others, and it was kind of cool that way. I did like the characters. However, overall, the plot and stuff like that was not my favorite. I did
yeah.
find that this one for me was a little bit overhyped in how much people were talking about
I
it.
think that's what I was finding. And
Yeah,
I think I went in with my expectations a little too high.
which happens.
So
Yeah.
So what I think I wanna do because like I say, the story, I keep thinking about it and I
Hmm.
like the concept, so
Yeah,
I'm thinking I'm just gonna go back to it with the like, let's just kinda manage our expectations on this one and try and see it through. Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah, that makes
Mhm.
sense. That's it. I mean, I'm curious to read the second book, Enchantra, and see what the sort of differences are kind of in that
Yeah.
one. I get the feeling it's going to be a kind of a different story because this is two pretty different characters. So it should be
Okay.
interesting. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's been a year.
It
it's been
has.
it's been a year, everyone.
It has. I can't wait to see what my reading year is like in the new year because
Yeah.
I have so many I wanna read,
I
like,
know.
like, just off the top of my head, is it Apprentice to the Villain, the first one?
Assistant to the villains, the first
Assistant to
one.
the
Yeah.
Villain, and then there's, like, those 3, and then obviously Quicksilver and Brimstone I've mentioned, there's a few ARCs that I want
Yeah.
to read, like, there's one coming my way that I'm really excited
Yeah.
about,
Yeah. That's
um,
it.
so yeah. Mm,
I know, yeah, things are and I mean, like, look, things are gonna look, I think, pretty stacked even right from the beginning of the year. Like, there's a ton of different stuff being published. Like, even, in the first quarter of the year, there's a lot of
mhm.
stuff coming out. We're getting like we're getting adaptations right away. People We Meet on Vacation drops on Netflix early January. So we're
Yeah,
getting the first Emily Henry one. Wuthering Heights comes out in February. Like
can't wait for that one.
we're getting some fairly stacked ones right towards the beginning of the year. I'm very curious to kind of see how all of this is going to go. In terms of like what reception will look like and what certain properties that are being adapted, maybe like, like that's it. Emily Henry stuff has never been done before. So I'm just curious to see how it turns
Mm,
out and what the reception looks like. Every time I think there's a new one from a really popular author, even if it's like contemporary like this, that is adapted, I'm always like, success or failure?
mm,
How's it gonna go with
it's
this?
true.
It's like what we've seen all like the madness with Colleen Hoover. Like we're seeing all
Oh
of this
boy,
different, really interesting stuff from these newer ones that are being adapted that have not previously had adaptations.
there
And I
is a
feel like,
new Colleen Hoover adaptation coming out.
yeah, there's one coming out in March.
Is it Reminders of Him?
Reminders of Him, March or
Yeah.
April, I don't remember. And then Verity comes out in October.
Oh shit, so
So
there's
it's
2
two
co-hosts
next
coming
year.
out.
Yeah. So like God, there's gonna be so much
Like,
stuff.
you're, like, reeling these off, and I'm like, "Okay, I've read Verity, so at least there's that," but I have People We Meet on Vacation, so I can read that.
I've
Wait,
read it.
was it that one? That was the one
Yes,
you
it's
just
people
mentioned?
it's
Yeah.
people we meet on vacation is
Yeah,
what's
because I
out.
also have Happy Place too, so I'm
Yeah.
just like, "Wait, yeah," so
Yeah, it's People We Meet on Vacation is what's coming out in January,
yeah.
which is great because I mean it's a fun book, but I like both of the actors who are playing the leads, like Tom Blythe, who was in The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes as
Oh,
President
yeah.
Snow.
He was great.
He's great, and gosh, I cannot remember her name right now, but she was the lead character in My Lady Jane, which it's a travesty
Oh,
that show was canceled.
so
It was
sad that that
so
got
fun.
canceled. Not cool.
Um, but she's great, so I'm looking forward to seeing kind of how that one comes out.
Yeah, and I've seen the trailer of Reminders of Him, and I'm like, "Oh my god, there cannot be this much shite happening to the same person all at once." Like,
It's
it is
always
the most depressing plot
they're
ever.
always you can never get more
It's like
depressing.
it's always the same with her books. It's
I
like,
know.
and if it's not bad enough, let's, add the biggest pile of poop to the big pile of poop that
It's
we
always, "Let's
started with.
add a car accident or a dead baby or something."
Always, and you're just like, "Wow, that got dark. Did you really have to go that
I
far? I
I
was
know.
entertained enough with what we started with, you
I
know?"
agree. I have no idea why.
Anyway.
Yeah. So all of that to say, I think that, between adaptations, between all the really cool shit that's coming out next year, like that's being published that we already even talked about in a previous episode, like what we are looking forward to, there's going to be so much great stuff next year. I cannot wait. I'm
Yeah,
excited. I would just like it to not be 2025 anymore.
I agree.
Yeah.
Let's, as my mother has started to say, "Let's yeet it into the stratosphere."
God, I forgot she was doing that. It's great. So hopefully I hope that everybody who's listening is having a good and happy holiday season. Hopefully you're listening to this in that haze between Christmas and New Year's where we all forget what day it is,
Mm.
and what we're doing. And we mostly wear pajamas. Like, hopefully you're in that haze and you're just like having a good time with it. Thank you everybody who is listening, has been listening, anything really that you do visiting this site, following us on socials, like all of that stuff, it is greatly appreciated because, without you guys, there would be no one to listen to this and that would be sad. And I know that we're just here doing this for ourselves, but it's nice to know that some people somewhere are enjoying it. So, yeah. God, I don't know. I don't think I have anything else to say. I think I'm just looking forward to next year. I think we're going to take a little bit of a break next week. So we're going to give ourselves some wiggle room to do some planning and start on some stuff. And then we're going to be coming back your way in January.
So until next year,
Oh
guys.
my God. Keep on reading.
Thanks, everyone.